viewers, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Well, after bail was denied by the top court, Supreme Court, where the former Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia was concerned, as the day ended yesterday, massive news broke. And that news was that it seemed the Enforcement Directorate has gone directly for the jugular, summoning Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, on the 2nd of November. Arvind Kejriwal will need to appear before the ED. We still don't know whether the Delhi Chief Minister is going to ask for more time or appear on the 2nd of November. All of this now, while there is talk, which is rife, that what happens if Arvind Kejriwal is also arrested, what happens to the Aam Aadmi Party, because the Aam Aadmi Party is going to town with that one single narrative, that this was all an exercise to net nobody else but target Arvind Kejriwal.
The Aam Aadmi Party is under fire. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned Delhi Chief Minister and AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal for questioning in the alleged Delhi excise policy scam. Kejriwal, who was questioned by the CBI in April this year, has to appear before the ED on Thursday. AAP described the summons as the Narendra Modi government's big plot to finish them.
Such a massive scam cannot take place without the clear approval of Mr. Kejriwal. Law में कहते हैं direct evidence and very suspicious circumstantial evidence. तो ये दोनों उपलब्ध हैं. तो ऐसे में केजरीवाल जी को बुलाया जा रहा है अगर ईडी के द्वारा, तो हाय तौबा क्यों मची हुई है?
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की कोशिश है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार करके जेल में डाला जाए, आम आदमी पार्टी के तमाम बड़े नेताओं को जेल में डाला जाए और आम आदमी पार्टी को खत्म कर दिया जाए.
Delhi Minister Atishi alleges that the central agency has no evidence against the Chief Minister but will arrest him on November 2nd on directions from the BJP. The BJP is hit back, calling up the biggest letdown in the political history of India.
सच्चाई ये है कि जब से सत्ता में आए हैं, एक के बाद दूसरा इनका नेता भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त पाया गया. और आप पिछले 8-9 वर्षों की कड़ी एक के बाद दूसरी देखिए कि कैसे व्यापक भ्रष्टाचार आम आदमी पार्टी ने दिल्ली से लेकर पंजाब तक किया है.
BJP is using ED and CBI to finish off anyone who opposes Bharatiya Janata Party, to finish off anyone whom Bharatiya Janata Party cannot defeat in elections. You can see how one after the other, senior leaders of Aam Aadmi Party are being targeted. Because they can't defeat us, they want to finish Aam Aadmi Party by putting all our leaders in jail.
Two AAP leaders, Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, were arrested while in office. Now will Kejriwal meet the same fate? This question is haunting AAP leaders and cadre. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, away from the political narrative, what is the case against the Delhi Chief Minister summoned on the 2nd of November? Mind you, just a few months ago, Arvind Kejriwal had appeared before the other investigating agency, which was the CBI, in the similar case, which is the excise policy case. This time, for the first time, called in by the Enforcement Directorate. The politics of it all, at least where the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, is positioned that this is a witch hunt to target Arvind Kejriwal. But I want to bring in my colleague Munish, who's joining us with more on this. Munish, what is the case where Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, is concerned when he's been summoned this time around?
Well, Preeti, as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, there are three main reasons because of which the officials of Enforcement Directorate have decided to summon him. The first is what is mentioned in the charge sheet also, that Arvind Kejriwal spoke to one of the accused in the case, that is Sameer Mahendru. He is someone who was arrested by the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate and also named accused in the case. And in that phone conversation, allegedly, Arvind Kejriwal mentioned this part that Vijay Nair is my boy and you can trust him. And Sameer Mahendru is a person who was liquor baron at that point of time. He was doing business under the new excise policy. He was someone who was playing a key role in bringing a favorable policy for other liquor businessmen also. That is accusation number one. The second allegation against Arvind Kejriwal is that there was a meeting between an MP from Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Magunta Reddy, with Arvind Kejriwal, where Arvind Kejriwal mentioned allegedly this part that I welcome you to do business in the national capital. And in fact, according to allegations, his son did some business of liquor when the new excise policy was brought in by the Aam Aadmi Party. But the third one is going to be extremely important, Preeti, because remember when Manish Sisodia's bail hearing was taking place in Supreme Court, then Supreme Court made a remark that when the proceeds of crime have allegedly gone to Aam Aadmi Party, then why don't you make Aam Aadmi Party accused in the case? And ED is already working on those lines to make Aam Aadmi Party accused in this case. Because Arvind Kejriwal is national convener of the party, there is a high possibility that Arvind Kejriwal might be called and he might be questioned on those lines, that whether he was aware that such scam is taking place, whether he was aware that the proceeds of crime have allegedly gone for Goa elections, and whether he was aware of the fact that the proceeds of crime generated allegedly by some of the AAP leaders were used for other political means. So this is certainly going to be trouble mounting for Arvind Kejriwal. As far as ED is concerned, they are claiming that at this point of time, they need to question Arvind Kejriwal because they have some material before them. On those material, they want to clarify a few things from Arvind Kejriwal.
You know, whatever the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to build on the sidelines where the narrative is concerned on why Arvind Kejriwal is being summoned or what is the, point behind that, political at that, away from all of that, Manish, very quickly, can you detail for us and unravel the timeline of questioning of the Delhi Chief Minister? Because in April, he was called in by the CBI. Are these cases connected at all? And why is the summon of the ED a lot more serious than what happened earlier?
Very important question, Preeti. Remember when in the month of April, Arvind Kejriwal was called in by the Central Bureau of Investigation, then he was treated as a witness in the case. And just before appearance of Arvind Kejriwal in the month of February on 26, Manish Sisodia was arrested by the Central Bureau of Investigation. During the statement given by Manish Sisodia to the CBI official, there was certain parts where Arvind Kejriwal's name was mentioned and the CBI wanted clarification on those points. But when it comes to Enforcement Directorate, it becomes far more serious because remember, under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, no one is treated as a witness in the case. Everyone is a suspect. At this point of time, Arvind Kejriwal is under scanner of Enforcement Directorate, and when he will be called in for questioning, when he will be questioned by the ED officials on November 2, if he appears, then he will be treated as a suspect in the case, and that's why it becomes very serious. Now, ED decided to question Arvind Kejriwal only after they arrested Sanjay Singh. And what ED claims, and they have been claiming in their charge sheet also, it is in written where there's part of his conversation with Samir Mahendru is concerned, whether the part of his meeting with Magunta Reddy is concerned, all these parts are mentioned in the charge sheet in black and white. So this becomes far more serious because there will be pointed questions to Arvind Kejriwal, which he will have to answer under Section 50 of Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
And that's possibly one of the main reasons that the Aam Aadmi Party also fears that this could all tantamount to an arrest eventually of the Delhi Chief Minister. The political narrative very strongly being bolstered on those lines that this is all an attempt to net Arvind Kejriwal. Thank you, Manish, for joining us with that update. I want to just now get into the politics of it all. The optics for the Aam Aadmi Party could be terrible, but could they work for the Aam Aadmi Party or will they backfire? I want to bring in Ashutosh, political analyst, who's joining us live, as well as Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist as well. Because if you've seen viewers, it's interesting. Because other than maybe one or two where the India alliance is concerned, haven't really come up and got the back of their own ally where Arvind Kejriwal is concerned. Why is that? Well, where the Congress comes into question, Congress was a petitioner in the liquor scam. So maybe the Congress cannot speak, at least the Delhi unit cannot. But we haven't heard anything from the top alliance partners of Mr. Kejriwal. But I want to cut across to Ashutosh first. Ashutosh, how do you view it? Because this is a war of perception that the Aam Aadmi Party has fought. They've built their bones, cut their teeth, no matter what idiom or analogy we might want to use on the plank of anti-corruption.
Aam Aadmi Party has gone through many crises in the past, but I think this is the biggest crisis which Aam Aadmi Party is facing. And that's why it becomes very important, and it can be very, very terrible for the party itself, for the two reasons. One, if Arvind Kejriwal, and there is a very serious possibility that Arvind Kejriwal can be arrested. And if he gets arrested, then who will be the chief minister, because he can't continue as the chief minister. And then obviously some replacement has to be found, and who will run the party, because Aam Aadmi Party is known that everything runs through Arvind Kejriwal. There is no second line, there is no third line, there is the fourth line. The other reason is that they're the two top leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party who command certain amount of respect within the hierarchy of the party and also within in the ground level cadre. One is Manish Sisodia, the number two, and the Miss Sanjay Singh. Now both of them are in jail. So if both of them are in jail and Arvind Kejriwal also ends up in jail, then obviously there will be total disarray in the Aam Aadmi Party. And that is where this crisis is getting much more serious for the party itself. And I do not know how the party will deal. I'm only assuming that if Arvind Kejriwal gets arrested, he might not get arrested. But now, since after the Supreme Court verdict, and the Supreme Court, in fact, verdict has come as a license. Why I'm saying so? Because Manish Sisodia, a few days back, just because of the observation of the Supreme Court, everybody believed that he is innocent, because Supreme Court has commented that there is no evidence against him, and how long you can keep a person in jail and there is no evidence in that sense. Now Supreme Court has denied bail. Not only Supreme Court has denied bail, but also said there is a possibility of money trail, that 338 crore might have been misused, or whatever you call it. Now, after the Supreme Court denial of bail to Manish Sisodia, Aam Aadmi Party cannot say that there is a witch hunt, because this is not the government has done it. This is not the Enforcement Directorate did it, but the theory, the line of investigation which Enforcement Directorate was continuing, Supreme Court has almost endorsed that. Now, look at the case now. If tomorrow Arvind Kejriwal is arrested, can the Aam Aadmi Party go to the public and say there is a witch hunt? That's the question.
All right, okay. I want to just bring in Rashid Kidwai into this conversation as well. All right, we don't have Rashid Kidwai, but Ashutosh, I'll pull you in again on this. At least now where you look at the perception and you go from micro to macro, because Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party are a part of a larger alliance, which is the India Alliance. Strangely, this time, one can understand the silence from the Congress, because at least the Delhi unit are petitioners in this case. But why do we see abject silence from some, the likes who've been very close, at least optics-wise, where Arvind Kejriwal is concerned? The TMC is silent. We haven't heard anything from the DMK. Most allies are keeping completely quiet on this.
One can understand this, and one of the reasons is that the Supreme Court's denial of bail to Manish Sisodia. That gives a moral credence to the entire investigation by the Enforcement Directorate. The point number one. The point number two, Arvind Kejriwal and his party did not observe the basic rule of coalition politics. You remember, Arvind Kejriwal, while campaigning in Chhattisgarh, has blamed Bhupesh Baghel and the entire Congress party that they are indulging into the big scam and big corruption. Now, when a coalition partner indulges into that, he has forgotten that the same thing can bounce back to him. Now, when Supreme Court has denied bail, when ED is calling Arvind Kejriwal, summons Arvind Kejriwal for investigation, then why Congress party should not return in the same coin? I think it's a basic mistake which Aam Aadmi Party has done. If you're part of an alliance, you should be patient and you have to observe certain rules of the game. Now you are contesting elections against Congress party in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh. You are abusing and criticizing our Congress party left, right and center. So why the Congress party should come to their rescue? I'm sure the senior congressmen like party president Rahul Gandhi and others, sooner or later, they will make some statement. But I'm not, I don't see that they are in a hurry unless they want to wait till 2nd of November.
All right, we're still waiting for Rashid Kidwai to join us. But, Ashutosh, what do you make of the fact that, this is a party and this is a leader who's fought and built every possible amount of political credibility on the plank of anti-corruption and having a clean image. And that is what they are going now back to the people, where this is a witch hunt for Arvind Kejriwal. Do you think this will work for Arvind Kejriwal or against Arvind Kejriwal?
See, Preeti, I think there's a famous saying that the revolution eats its own child, its own kids. That's what exactly is happening. The Aam Aadmi Party had that moral capital. That moral capital was that these are the people who are not like a professional politician. They are not the careerists in politics, and they are here to change politics. Now, and look what they had said to begin with. They used to say that why the chief ministers and the leaders and the MPs and MLAs and the ministers should be living in big bungalows. Why can't they live in the two room flats? Now, every promise that they had done, everything that they had said has gone back on that. So if you start behaving like a political party, obviously people will question, and not only their opponents will question, the public will also question. And unfortunately or fortunately, Aam Aadmi Party has gone weak on its moral fiber, and now it is coming back to haunt them.
All right, let's get in a quick comment from Rashid Kidwai, who's back with us. We'll also be joined by Rajdeep Sardesai in a short while. But Rashid Kidwai, what do you make of, especially where the India alliance comes into question, the abject silence? One can understand the Delhi unit of the Congress because they are petitioners. But when it comes down to their own allies, someone, because Arvind Kejriwal, known to be very close to Mamata Banerjee, nothing coming in from even the TMC, leave alone the other political parties like the NCP, DMK, or even the Congress.
Yeah, so I think, Preeti, the India alliance is about, the politics, alliance and the narrative about defeating the BJP in 2024. It's not about, consolidating, individual political parties or fighting on their behalf. We have seen a series of, corruption cases. Some of them are very politically motivated against the Congress, Trinamool, and we have seen even Arvind Kejriwal's own track record that when, Rahul Gandhi was being questioned or disqualified, etc., he looked the other way. So this has been a legacy, but that does not mean that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is on a weak wicket. I disagree with my friend Ashutosh. See, the politicians, particularly regional parties, they have to go through this kind of series of charges, and sometimes some people are jailed, but they have come out much stronger. You look at life of Jayalalitha. We are seeing what is happening to Chandrababu Naidu. So there is a political pattern. I don't want to make a comment on this particular case, liquor scam, but generally speaking, the way opposition is targeted in cases of alleged cases of corruption, etc., there is a very rich legacy of individuals and regional satraps bouncing back, and perhaps Mr. Arvind Kejriwal will not be an exception to it, because it's not a watertight cases. Many times cases are motivated. If our drive was against corruption in a serious manner, half of the political class would have been in jail, not because they are corrupt, because we are sitting over a very corrupt political system. You look at the entire way elections are fought. People are paying 10 times, 100 times more than the poll expenses. I mean, every candidate spends at least 10 times and sometimes 100 times more than what they show as actual expenses. So so everybody in that sense is corrupt. Only some people are singled out, and unfortunately, of course, Aam Aadmi Party is caught in that web.
Well, Aam Aadmi Party caught in that web, but Rashid Kidwai, do you also think that Arvind Kejriwal is a man difficult to write off? Because let's look at the political history, and I'll take in a comment from Ashutosh as well on this. If we go back, ever since, Arvind Kejriwal came into the political scene, he's been written off too many times to bounce back even stronger. Rashid Kidwai.
You're asking me?
Yes, Rashid Kidwai. Go first.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Because as I told you, see, these cases, unless somebody gets, convicted in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months time, then it's a different story. Otherwise, these mere allegations do not mean anything. And a lot of people, even Sukhram, who was, much maligned in corruption, he had also bounced back and he started winning elections again. You look at, as I keep repeating, Jayalalitha's life, Mulayam Singh, all his life, faced this kind of DA charges, Mayawati, but it didn't stop them from winning.
30 seconds, Ashutosh.
Reddy, he spent so much time in jail.
All right, Ashutosh, 30 seconds. For somebody who's followed his trajectory, he's a man who's difficult to write off. Look at how he came back in Punjab 2015. Every time you write him off, he's back stronger.
I never write off. I have not written off Arvind Kejriwal. I've only said this is the biggest crisis which has come to haunt to Aam Aadmi Party for two reasons. One, I think we always compare Lalu Prasad Yadav and Jayalalitha, but we forget that Lalu Prasad Yadav and Jayalalitha, both of them was a well-structured party with with our institutional memory, Aam Aadmi Party doesn't have that. Secondly,
Okay.
that the two topmost leaders who can carry forward the mission and carry forward the party and run the government, they are also in jail. So now, beyond that, I don't see anybody who can lead. A crisis
Right.
always throws up some kind of leadership. I'm not discounting that, but the crisis
Okay.
is serious and they have to confront.
All right, okay. You know, with that, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. Apologies, we couldn't connect to Mr. Rashid Kidwai in time, as well as Rajdeep Sardesai. But with that, it's a wrap. Do stay with us, sir.